Hi everyone, welcome to Mr. Wagget's math class again. Last lesson, we talked about solving simple equations using inverse operation. And we talked about a balance scale because that's how equations work. Whatever you add to one side, you have to add to the other side of the equation to keep it in balance. Whatever operation you do to one side of the equation, you have to do the same thing to the other side of the equation. So to undo any operation, it's called the inverse operation. Let's review from last lesson. If you have an equation that has addition, to undo addition, well, the inverse operation of addition will be subtraction. And if you have subtraction, the inverse operation will be addition. And if you have multiplication in the equation, the inverse operation will be division. And if you have division, the inverse operation will be multiplication. The only thing I'll be adding to this lesson is which operation would you use first? So I need you to think about this word, free. Which term, could be a number, or it could be a variable, or it could be a combination. Which term would you get rid of first? Think about the word free again, and the number that's free and not attached to anything. That's what we're going to start with. So now let's work on this example. 3x plus 25 divided by 2 equals 23. Which term is free? Which number is free that I need to get rid of first to solve for x? Solve for x means isolate x on one side of the equation. So the ultimate goal is to have x equal a number maybe. Which term is free? Is it the 3, 25, or 2 because they all on the same side as the x? I can see 3 is attached to x, which is called a coefficient, and 25 is a constant, and the number 2 is also a constant. So which number is free to get rid of first? I can see the 2 is free on the denominator. And the fractions bar means divide. So the inverse operation of division is multiplication. So I'm going to multiply 2 on both sides of the equation. And that's the multiplication property of equality. Then 2 divided by 2 equals 1. That's how I got rid of the 2. You end up with 3x plus 25 equals 46, because 23 times 2 equals 46. Now, which number again is free? Is it the 3 or the 25? The 25. And since the operation is addition, to undo addition, we'll be subtracting 25 and make sure from both sides of the equation to keep it balanced. And that's called the subtraction property of equality. And you end up with 3x equal 21. Now, which number to get rid of? 3, because it's on the same side as the x. Since there is no operation between 3 and x, put a dot in the middle, and dot means multiply. And the inverse operation of multiplication is division, and it's called the division property of equality. So divide 3 on both sides, you end up with x equals 7, and that is the solution. Okay, now we need to check and see if the solution is a correct solution, is the right answer. For you to do that, you need to substitute or replace x with number 7 that we found previously. Substitute x with 7. You end up with 3 and put the 7 in parentheses. This way I know if I need to multiply it or not. Plus 25 divided by 2 equals 23. Watch how I put the equal sign because I'm still checking to see if those two sides are equal or are in balance. Now, follow order of operation. 3 times 7 is 21 plus 25 divided by 2. Does it equal 23? Add them. 21 plus 25 divided by 2 gives you 23 equals 23, and they checked. So it is in balance. That means my solution x equals 7 is the correct answer. Find the measure of each angle. I know I have a polygon. I numbered how many angles it has, and it has 5 angles. And the sum of the angles is 540 degrees. I wrote the angles to know which one I'm talking about. So measure of angle 1 is B, measure of angle 2 is B plus 45, measure of angle 3 is 90 degrees, and the measure of angle 4 is 2B minus 90, and measure of angle 5
is 3 over 2 or 1.5b. But I don't know what b is. I need to find the value of b to substitute it and find the answer for the measure of each angle. For me to do that, I'm using this information that says the sum of angle measures is 540. Sum is the answer for addition, so I need to add all these angles to equal 540. That's how we write the equation. So angle 1 is b plus angle 2 is b plus 45. Angle 3 is 90 degrees. Angle 4 is 2b minus 90. And angle 5 is 3 over 2b should equal 540 degrees. So if I add all these up, it should be 540 degrees. Now step number 1, to undo parentheses. This parentheses, there's nothing behind it. There isn't a number, but that means I have one set of that. I can put 1 and then multiply, distribute the 1 over the two terms, but make sure you take the sign with the number. So bring the b down. Now, take the sign with the number. So positive 1 times positive b is positive b. Positive 1 times positive 45 is positive 45, plus, bring the 90 down, plus, again, I have one set of that because it isn't a number, and then I multiply the 1 times the two terms, distribute a property to undo parentheses. 1 times 2b is 2b, and positive 1 times negative 90 is negative 90, plus 3 over 2b, but this time I am going to change it to 1.5, which makes it easy for me to calculate. So it's 1.5b equals 540 degrees. Now, combine like terms. I will be combining the b's. I have b plus 2b plus 1.5b. Add them up. 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1.5 gives you 5.5b. And now to add the constants, you have 45, positive 45 plus 90 minus 90. 45 plus 90 minus 90 gives you 45. So plus 45 equals 540. Now I need b by itself. I need to isolate b. I get rid of the constant because it's free. The 5.5 is a coefficient and it's attached to the b. So the free number is 45. Undo addition using subtraction. So subtract 45, subtract 45 from both sides. 45 minus 45 is 0. You have 5.5b equals 495. Now, undo multiplication. Remember, if there is nothing in the middle, put a dot, which means multiply. And the inverse operation of multiplication is division. So divide by 5.5, and I have to do that on both sides. 5.5 divided by 5.5 gives me 1. 1 times b is b. 495 divided by 5.5 is 90, which means b equals 90. Now let's go back and check the answer for each angle. I know the measure of angle 1 equals b, and b is 90, so the measure of angle 1 equals 90 degrees. Now angle number 2 is 90 plus 45, and that gives you 135 degrees. Angle number 3 equals 90 degrees. It's already given. Angle number 4 equals 2 times 90, which is 180, minus 90 equals 90 degrees. And angle number 5 is 3 over 2 times 90 over 1, or 1.5 times 90, and that gives you 135. Now add all these angles, 90 plus 135 plus 90 plus 90 plus 135, to make sure that you got 540 degrees, which is the sum of all these angles, and it did check. Let's solve for x for this equation as practice. You have 5x minus 3 times the parentheses equal negative 9. There's two ways to do this. You can change subtraction into adding a negative, or you can take the sign. We know this is a -3, not a +3. So bring 5x down. Just take the sign with the number and multiply by the terms inside the parentheses to get rid of the parentheses. So -3 times x is -3x. And that -3x is like adding a negative, which is subtraction. -3 times +2 is -6. And adding a negative is the same as subtraction. That's why I just take a sign instead of changing to adding a negative. Equals, bring the -9 down. Now combine like terms, the x's. 5x minus 3x is 2x. Minus 6 equal -9. Now we need x by itself. I need to get rid of 6 or 2. Which one is free? It's the 6 because the 2 is a coefficient multiplied by x. And the 6 is by itself. Subtracting in the inverse operation is adding 6 to both sides. And you end up with 2x. -6 plus 6 is 0. And -9 plus 6 is -3. Now 2x plus 0 is 2x equals -3. 2x means 2 times x. Put a dot. That means you're multiplying 2 times x. And the inverse operation is dividing by 2 both sides. So x equal -1.5. That's the solution. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.